back to my channel. I feel like I haven't been here in a really long time. Summer did go by way too fast, but I did not have a chance to film anything because my children are home all day, and as you can see, my house is wide open. There is very little space for me to film without them running around in the background. They are back in school. I hope that you have had a wonderful start to your school year. I have especially missed sharing new picture book releases with you, so I have a lot to share with you today. So many came out over the summer, and because I didn't get a chance to do new book releases for June, July, or August, we are going to combine all of them today. It's going to be kind of a long video. I'm going to go through each one pretty quick, probably a little quicker than I normally do, just because there's so many books that I want to share with you. As always, I'll pop up pictures of images of the book covers here, since most of them are brand new. I don't actually have them, but you should be able to either get them at your local library or bookstore either now or soon-ish. We will start with the June books and then go through July and August as well. If you are new here, my name is Sara, and I am the face behind the colorful apple. Each week, except in the summer apparently, I like to share picture books on this channel. I like to share brand new books, books that you can use in your classroom for different subjects, for science, for math, for social emotional learning, as well as books to read just for fun, for holidays, for seasons, because I think that picture books are such an amazing tool in the classroom and are often underutilized. So if that sounds like something that will be helpful for you, that you will be interested in, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss a video, because like I said, during the year, I'm here every week to share new picture books with you. So let's jump into those new summer picture book releases. And I have notes in front of me, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, because like I said, there's a lot, so I will be looking at those from time to time. The first book that I want to share with you today is Zuni and the Memory Jar, and this is by Aisha Saeed. This is a picture book that celebrates those everyday moments of fun, beauty, and wonder. In this story, we meet Zuni, who is a sweet, charming, lovable child who is always full of ideas. And one of those things that her family has is a memory jar. And in this memory jar, they put their favorite everyday memories, things that they did together as a family in that jar, whether it's pictures or written down on pieces of paper. And they put them all in this jar, and at the end of the year, they go back through this jar and talk about all of the wonderful everyday moments that they had together throughout the year. Now, this is actually motivating me to kind of do this for my family. I'm kind of intrigued by this idea, and I think this would be something fun to do as a class. After you read the story, have a class jar, and each day have one student, you could make it like a class job, or have multiple students write down something they learned that day, something fun that they did, and then at the end of the year, go through it together and have a lot of fun reliving your year together. So not only will this be a great picture book to read, but I think it'll spark a fun class project as well. Now, I said I was going to go through these quickly. So far, not doing a great job with that. Let's see if we move a little bit faster. The next book that I have is I See Color by Valerie Bowling. And this book really affirms that people of color of all shades, this book really affirms people of color of all shades and celebrates their achievements and their contributions to society. So it recognizes some very famous names such as Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as others. And we see incredible leaders and how they are honored on every page in this book. A powerful book to share with your class. Next, we have a book called A Song for Nolan. And this is by Rushy Ellenwood. In this story, Nolan, who is non-binary, is invited to a party at the local roller skating rink. They are so excited. They love to roller skate, and you would say that it's their jam. They are so ready to get to this party, and once there, the DJ is playing music, and the DJ announces a song for the girls, and then a song for the boys, and Nolan's not really sure where they fit in. So he encourages the DJ to play a song for everyone. It's really a powerful and joyful book that uplifts and celebrates non-binary children and the power that they have and what great people they are. Another book that was released in June 2024 is called Home in a Lunchbox. This one is written by Cherry Mo. In the story, a young girl immigrates from Hong Kong to America. And when she gets here, there's only a handful of words that she knows. Her new school feels foreign, it feels terrifying. Then she opens her lunchbox to find her favorite meal. She realizes that home isn't so far away after all. And this book reminds readers and your students that friendship and belonging can be found in every bite, but a powerful book for you to share with your class. Next, we have Abuelo's Flower Shop. In this one, Elena is finally old enough to help her abuelo out in his flower shop, but she notices that all of the people who come into the flower shop have tears in their eyes. And her abuelo explains that they come in to buy flowers to remember those that they have lost and to share that they miss them. And this is a powerful story for those who are navigating those difficult conversations about grief and can help out those students who are going through that. So I think this is a great book for you to have in your classroom. Another book from June 2024 is The Boy Who Found His Voice. This one is written by Tyler Gordon and it's inspired by his own life. And in the story, it's a boy who has a speech difference and he finds a way to express himself through art. He often pauses and stutters and stammers, but his mom helps him realize that he can express himself in different ways and in ways that are being true to himself, and he finds art as that way to express himself. Okay, we're gonna move a little bit faster. Next, I have Beach Hair by Ashley Woodfolk. This is a book about family, community, and most importantly, beach hair. Everyone on the beach's hair is twisty and crazy and blown by the wind. And the best part about this beach day is that everyone belongs because all of their hair looks the same that day. And they can really let their hair run as wild and free as the sea. Another book that was released in June 2024 is Gorgeously Me by Jonathan Van Ness. This is a book that celebrates all the things that makes each individual unique and special and gorgeously themselves. It talks about how being yourself isn't always easy, but it's so important to stay true to who you are. Next up, we have The Yellow Bus by Lauren Long, and this is a book about a bus who it's told from the point of view of the bus and how much that bus loves bringing kids to school every day and the joy that it finds in having all those kids on the bus. But eventually the bus gets old and no longer takes those kids to school anymore. But yet this school bus still finds joy and happiness even when it no longer brings the kids to school. Next, we have a book for fans of Pete the Cat. This one is Pete the Cat Screams for Ice Cream by James Dean. The Just Chillin' ice cream truck, that's a fun name for an ice cream truck, is about to arrive and Pete is so excited. But he's running late and his friends need help. Will Pete take a little bit of time out of his day to help his friends? Follow along with Pete the Cat as he learns that it is cool to be kind. Okay, those are all the books for June 2024. Now let's move into July. First, we have Dante Plays His Blues by Alan Wells. This is about a boy who is affected by housing insecurity. He and his mom have lost their home, so they have to move in with his Uncle Ron and Uncle Joe. But Dante doesn't know anyone in this neighborhood and he's feeling a little lost. So his Uncle Ron teaches him how to play the saxophone, and he learns that playing the blues is a great way to lift his mood. Next, we have Dare to Be Daring by Chelsea Wallace. This one is about facing your fears, whether they are big or small. From tasting a new food to a trip to the dentist to those scary sounds in the basement. It's about inviting students to be brave when things feel a little scary and how you can be just brave enough to try everything, and really encourages them to build that confidence and feel brave even in those times that feel a little nerve-wracking. Another book that was released in July 2024 is Millie Floor's Poison Garden. This is written by Christy Mandan. And in Millie's new neighborhood, all of the houses are really nice and well kept, except for her house, which is kind of scruffy and a little run down. That doesn't bother Millie though, as she gets to planting a garden of rather strange plants. The other kids are a little wary at first of these weird magical plants that she has in her yard, but soon everyone wants a little bit of Millie's garden to add to their own yards. And it's a reminder to embrace everything that makes us all unique and wonderfully weird. Next, I have a book kind of on mindfulness. This one is Think a Thought by Connor McLaughlin. And I think this is becoming even more pertinent in the past few years as more and more kids are becoming prone to anxiety and those thoughts that are racing around in their heads and they don't know how to calm them or get them out. So this book offers them a way to quiet that brain and offers them examples of meditation and mindfulness to really help them ease these anxieties. I have not picked this one up, so I'd be curious to see if this makes a good read aloud or if it's just a good resource to have in your classroom for students when they feel the need to have that. So I'll have to look into that one and get back to you. Another book that came out in July 2024, this one came out just in time for the Olympics, which are now over, but came out right before the Olympics. But I Am Jesse Owens, and this is part of Brad Meltzer's biography collection. So it follows the same format as all of his other books. They are really great if you haven't picked any of them up before. He has biographies on people from past as well as the present, and gives a lot of information on their lives in ways that are accessible to students and makes it fun and entertaining for them to learn about all of these important people in our world. So like I said, this one is I Am Jesse Owens, so we know that he is a famous track star, but it goes through his childhood and how he came from a family that was poor, and it was also a very large family, and then goes on to talk about his career as an Olympian, how he was up against fierce competitors and racist assumptions, but overcame that to become an Olympic gold medalist. Next, we have Saturdays at Harlem Groan by Tony Hillary. And this is a companion to the nonfiction book Harlem Grown about an urban community farm. And it talks about how every Saturday the community comes out to tend this garden together, and it's time to harvest all of their hard work that they've put into it. And it really talks about not only this great garden that they've created, but how they've created an amazing community that has all worked together to build this thing in their community. And there's an author's note at the end that includes a recipe for soup, as well as instructions for recycling, composting, and tending to a garden. So lots of great information in there for your students, as well as a great story to share with them. This next one will be fun for Halloween. This one is called Boo the Library Ghost by Becky Page. And in this story is a young girl named Poppy, and the library is her favorite place to visit. But there's a ghost named Boo who tries to frighten everyone away. Boo casts eerie shadows, rips pages out of books, and knocks the books off the shelves. But brave Poppy refuses to leave. She just wants to read her books in peace. Well, we learn that Boo wants to learn to read too, and so Poppy helps her become a reader, and then Boo is no longer a haunted ghost, but a friendly ghost in this story. So not only is it a fun could be a fun Halloween book, but it also celebrates reading and the joy of books as well. So a great book to read at any time of the year. And speaking of Halloween, the next book we have is Vamos, Let's Celebrate Halloween and Dia de los Muertos by Roel III. Little Lobo is celebrating two big holidays this fall. On Halloween, he and his friends are going to dress up in costumes, go trick-or-treating, and share spooky stories. But then everyone in the town prepares food, drinks, and other gifts and decorates the cemetery with ofrendas so they can enjoy Dia de los Muertos with the spirits of the people that they love. And he's so excited to celebrate both of these holidays. So a great book to share at the end of October, beginning of November. The last book that we have that came out in July of 2024 is Author versus Illustrator by Donald Lemke. And so the story begins at the far reaches of Earth, high upon a mountaintop. A bustling city is under attack by a cute little furball? Wait, what? That's not right. The author wrote the book about a ferocious beast, not a cuddly critter. Turns out the illustrator has other ideas. So this book goes on to become a competition between the author and the illustrator and how they have their own ideas about how they want this book to turn out. Can the author make a successful picture book without an illustrator? Can the illustrator tell a story without words? Or will they get together to at last create the ultimate happy ending in the book? This is a great book to kind of point out the important roles of the author and the illustrator in a picture book. A great way to kind of start out maybe your writing workshop or reading workshop at the beginning of the year, talking about how picture books come together and how both of those roles play really important parts in creating picture books and how they need to work together to make that book come to life. Okay, we are on the last month of summer. I don't even know how long this video is yet. Hopefully not too bad and that you're still with me. I have a few books to share with you that came out in the month of August. First, we have One Small Spark. This one is by Ruth Spiro, and it poses a question. Imagine the world you want to live in. If it's not the world you see, will you create it? And so this begins a young girl's journey to solve a problem. She notices this problem on one rainy day on her way to school. And in that moment, a small spark inside of her grows. And it connects her with others who are inspired to make a change as well and to help the world become a better place. So you'll have to find out in this story what she does and how she makes her world a better place. And I think this will inspire your own students to make a difference in the world, whether it's small or large, and spark that discussion about how they can make a difference in the world, even if it's just something small. The next book that I have that was released in August 2024 is Who's in Charge by Stephanie Allen. This is an age-appropriate book for students, for young children, that encourages them to set boundaries, that they need to take charge of their own body, voice, and the choices that they make. So as the book goes through, it asks who's in charge of your voice, who's in charge of your nose, who's in charge of your toes, and it can be playful and silly, but students will respond with the I am statement, that they are in charge of their body, they are in charge of their choices, they are in charge of their voice, and it's important to set those boundaries and for students to understand that they are in charge of themselves and that under no terms should other people be touching them or affecting them in ways that they are not comfortable with. So by doing this, by responding this way throughout the story, students will be more confident to use their voice in their own lives as well. So I think this is a powerful book, especially maybe in health class, for students to understand that they are the ones that are in control, that they are in charge of themselves. This next one I think will be good for some students because this is something that is often difficult for kids. This book is called I'm Sorry You Got Mad, and it's by Kyle Lukoff. And Jack wants to apologize for hurting Zoe's feelings, but he can't quite find the words. He doesn't really know what to say or how to apologize. And he learns that there's more to an apology than just saying I'm sorry, and that it goes deeper than just words. So I think this will be helpful, this social emotional learning concept for students to understand how to apologize and what it means to apologize and how to do it in an effective way. Now we have another book for the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. This one is called The Ofrenda That We Built by Jolene Gutierrez. And it's a great story about families that are celebrating this holiday as they celebrate the memory of their loved ones who have passed on, but who they continue to remember. It talks about how the family ofrenda is the center of this celebration. And the story follows the popular nursery rhyme, The House That Jack Built. So instead they're saying the Arenda that we built. And it goes through all of the different elements and how each one symbolizes something and has special meaning to that family. A great one to share with students, again, at the end of October, beginning of November, to help them understand what this holiday celebration is all about. And speaking of end of October, the next book is Trick or Treating in the City. This one is by Tiffany Jackson, and it's about a little girl who lives in New York City, and she can't do her typical Halloween traditions. Both her mom and dad have to work, and they can't take her to the suburbs to go trick-or-treating. But she starts to listen to her friends and neighbors talk about their Halloween and how they plan to celebrate. And by listening to them, it helps her learn how she can have her own traditions or her own celebration of Halloween in her own special way. Another holiday book that is coming up is Once Upon a Dwali by Anita Mishra. In the story, a young girl loves Dwali. She loves the tasty treats, but she doesn't really like the darkness and the fireworks. So can she find a way to be brave and figure out how to celebrate Dwali with her family without being scared? Throughout this story, not only will you hear this young girl's story and figure out how she overcomes those fears, but you'll learn more about the holiday as well and how it's celebrated. And speaking of feeling scared, I like how all of my books are kind of going together in order. I did not do that on purpose. This one is called You've Got This. And this one talks about helping kids tackle those scary moments with a special mantra to help inspire confidence. So learning to ride a bike, performing in a recital, facing a mistake. Those are all things that can, even for adults, make your hands sweat and your heart pound. But by repeating the mantra, "You've got this," young kids will learn to face their fears and try new things. The next book that was released in August 2024 is called Stay Angry Little Girl by Madeline L'Engle. This comes from a powerful quote from A Wrinkle in Time. If you've read the book, it's one of my favorites. This one, the quote is, "Stay angry, little Meg," Mrs. Whatsit whispered. "You will need all your anger now." So this picture book takes that quote and encourages girls everywhere to proudly share their ideas and their emotions, even if those traits are met with resistance. Because being brave, sensitive, stubborn, curious, loud, kind, or playful help young girls build strength and stay true to themselves. A powerful book, especially for the girls in your classroom. Next is a little bit more of a sad book. This one is called I Miss You Most by Charlotte Cheng. And in this book, a girl remembers her grandfather fondly. And it's a book about coping with loss. Those memories of her grandpa bring kind of a solace, but also grief at the same time. And she's learning to kind of navigate that trickiness of missing them, but also wanting to remember them. This is a great book for students who are navigating that grief and helping to talk with them about loss and how sad it can be, and that it's okay to be sad and it's okay to face all of those feelings that you're feeling. And the last book that I have that was released in August 2024, there are definitely lots more books. I just picked a handful for each month, but there are so many books that are released each month. This one is called Show Up and Vote, which I think is timely since this is an election year. This is kind of an eye-opening book for young students about voting. A young girl goes with her mother to a local polling station, and her mom walks her through not only the process, but the importance of voting, and that it comes with great responsibility, and that it's part of being a citizen in our country is that right to vote, and again, how important it is. And we follow along as the young girl faces a lot of different emotions, being nervous, being excited, and how she feels invigorated at the very end that they have, that her mother and eventually her are helping to make a difference in our country. Okay, I hope you're still with me. That was a long list of books. I will leave them all linked in the description box down below. Those were all of the books that, well, I say all, that is not all of the books that were released in summer 2024. That was just about 30 or so that I chose from June, July, and August that I think will make great additions to your classroom library or great read alouds for you to share with your students. If this video was helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell too, so that way you are alerted when I have a new video coming out. It's usually once a week. I'll definitely be more consistent throughout the school year now that my kids are not here and they are in school now. But I just love to share picture books that I know that you can use in your classroom that will be helpful for your students in helping them learn new things, understanding different cultures, helping them navigate different feelings and emotions. I think that read alouds are such an important tool to use in the classroom. So if you agree with that, make sure you subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment below telling me which one of these books that you are going to grab first. And I will see you next week.